Hey Bonnie, what you looking for? A mouse? I got all this, got all these pallets, all this firewood. I've chopped off a bit. This is just for just rubbish wood, but it it burns and it keeps you warm, doesn't it? This is Patricia's fire. She's got a great big inglenook fireplace in her cottage, and I've had a bit of a tidy up. Doesn't look very tidy, but I have actually had a tidy up in here. What else can I tell you? Oh yeah, it was very spring-like today as regards temperature. It felt quite warmish. It was 14 degrees centigrade, and it did feel warm after what we've been experiencing. I was quite happy, but now it's got cold again and it's starting to drizzle. What's it say on the temperature here? Can you see that? It's gone down 1 degree. It's 13 centigrade, which is 55-ish, which is quite warm really, isn't it? Oh, I know, I was going to show you something that I've done from my Himalayan motorbike. Bear with me a minute. Bit higgledy-piggledy. Yeah, I've put a top box on. It's a cheap top box. I just found it in the shed. I don't know where it came from. It's tied on. Look, it's tied on with cable ties and this bungee. I just thought I'd put it on because if I'm out and I want to do, excuse my friend, if I'd want to do any shopping, it's a bit awkward. So I found this, and it's just a plastic. It's a plastic box with it's got a tray in it. I left the tray in. Look, you can see how I've tied it in. It's quite substantial. I'm not joking, honest. There's no way that's coming off. Well, not until I take it off. But if I'll leave that tray in, because that gives it a bit of rigidity. But I mean, these top boxes cost a lot of money, and I'm a cheapskate. Yeah, so I've done that. I've cut a bit of wood, and now I've decided I'm going to make a bow and arrow, like like we used to make when we were kids. So I'm off to look for a bit of wood. I don't know if this will be successful, and the rain might get worse, so I'll have to abandon that project. But yeah, I don't expect people to make bows and arrows. Children don't make them these days because they're dangerous. Of course, one of the first things one has to do when thinking about making a bow and arrow is finding a suitable piece of wood. Look at that. These three branches have joined together. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? Oh, look, green leaves. See that? This is hazel. I've copied this a couple of times, as you can see from the base there. And this one. This is going to need coppicing again soon. We've got some nice firewood in there, logs to be cut. And I can't see anything that's suitable for... No, this branch is sort of shaped like a bow already. It might be too thin. Yeah, it might be too thin, that one. Yeah, you can see where I cut it in the past. And this one, another one I coppiced. Just see how much wood you can get out of just one little hazel twig planted. This is the remains of the snowdrops. What I'll do later on. Well, you can actually transplant these things when they're green, so I should do that later. This looks like a suitable stick. Got a bit of bend in it. That might do the trick. Should have brought a saw with me, shouldn't I? That one looks nice. A bit maybe too thick. A bit rusty, but I did sharpen it recently. Alright, Mia. Hello, love. I'm just going into the wooded area to love my girl. She's a good girl. I'm going to cut some wood, a piece of wood to make a bow and arrow. You would probably chase the arrow once upon a time, wouldn't you? Eh? Good girl. What a good girl. She gets up at night, you know. Honestly, she doesn't lie about all day. Well, she does lie about all day, and then at night time she comes out here, sits on here and just waits for the fox. And she does actually chase it, but very slowly, don't you? You chase that fox very slowly. Yes, you do. Anyway, I've got to get going. I've got to make a bow and arrow. Right, where was that? I'm not saying this is going to work, and I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it because I want to. I'm feeling childish. I cut it about there. Oops, oh, that was silly. Should have done an undercut, never mind. Right, how long do we want this? You just stay there a minute. I'll cut that. It needs to be too long. Need to be too long about here. I used to make a good bow when I was a kid. What we used to do was not shoot at things, we used to shoot them up in the air, see how high they could go. The arrows we used to make. And the arrows was a real art. Well, childish sort of arrows. I'm back. Well, get on with it. What a mess it is in here. I've really got to have a tidy up. A spring clean. That's what I'll do. Just gonna give this a sharpen. This is a cheap bushcraft knife, but does the job. Some of you experts will know Finman stainless, Kahava, Finland. Wasn't originally my knife, it was left here by a friend of mine. he never came back for it, unfortunately. He did away with himself over a woman. Unrequited love kills a lot of men. Very sad. But we don't want to talk about that. Go and get on with making my bow and arrow. I don't know whether this can be seen. Let me have a see if I can. Yeah, it might be able to see what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this. As I say, I just decided I'm going to make a bow and arrow. It's not that I haven't got anything else to do. I've got plenty of things to do. Now, what I'm going to do is just get a notch around the end here for the string to go in. There goes a 415 Mia going to Portsmouth. Well, it could be going to Brighton. Oh no, it's going the wrong way for Brighton. I worked on the trains for a little while in the 70s. That's when I had my nervous breakdown. I don't think it was because I worked on the trains, but it actually occurred on a working day, the breakdown. I can remember the breakdown quite clearly, but I can't remember the months after it and while I was recovering and getting better. All I know is I had this breakdown and shut myself away. I mean, I had medication and stuff, and my missus was looking after me. But I remember nothing of about 3 months. It just completely went from my life. My missus said I wouldn't see anyone. People would come to visit, and I just didn't want to know. And I stayed in bed for most of those 3 months until one day. I can't remember this quite clearly, but I know one day I decided I was not going to take any more medication, and I wasn't going to be ill anymore. I wasn't going to be depressed down, and started fighting back mentally, and then got all right. I mean, it came back occasionally, but I think I've beaten it now. Although, you know, I do get the odd off day, but nothing too serious that I can't cope with. When I get really down, I shout it away. I actually can go out in the fields and just shout anything, just shout loud, telling it to F off, and it works. So that's how I dealt with it. And if anyone out there is having any trouble with depression and stuff like that, you will get better if you just fight your way through it, and as you get older you'll get better and you'll come to accept things. I know why I know now why I had this breakdown. I didn't know at the time, but I had some psychiatric evaluation, all to do with childhood trauma. Just catches up with you. Do you know, if I hadn't had any childhood trauma, I don't think I would have ever got in trouble with the police. I would never have gone to prison. It's an excuse, isn't it? I'm making an excuse for my behaviour, but that's all I can explain it, because I don't think I was a bad person. Well, I still don't think I'm a bad person, but you know, weird things happen to your mind, and I behaved stupidly. But yeah, anyway, I've done that, got that bit of ridge there, and now I'm going to make a sort of a V slot in the top, just as I'll keep my hand away from it. Didn't really sharpen this knife very well. It's funny, I'm talking. I didn't mean to talk about depression. I just remembered where the knife came from, and my friend who couldn't deal with. Well, his problem was unrequited love. I think that's quite a common thing for people to commit suicide for. It's all hormonal in that case, I think. Hormones, they have a lot to answer for. No, I'm getting these things like this. Kind of a groove there. Look, it's not, I don't know if you can see it, but it's not a very good shape. Doesn't look as good as it did when it was on the tree. Sorry about that, Hazel. Probably cut you for no good reason. Now, see this end, I don't really need to kitten because it's kind of soft, and the rope, the string that I put on it, is going to dig into that anyway, I think. But we'll give it a little bit of a chance. And comes with a sheath. I'll put that there for now. I've got a bit of cord here. I think they call it paracord nowadays. I call it string, twine. And I've got to try and get it around here, so leave me to this, because when I'm bending it, it might well snap, and I'd feel silly. Don't go away though, I'll be back in a minute. Little bit of a cock up here. I've been tightening, I tied it up there on that end, and look, it's split. The covering's come off. I didn't even know it had an outer covering. I've got to, I don't know if that would be strong enough, but to cut this bit off. Had it a nice shape as well. It's, you know, there's no rush. Plenty of rabbits around here. Oh, it won't come off. No, that's it. Shouldn't have said that, because I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you're allowed to actually hunt rabbits or any animals with a bow and arrow in Britain. I don't know why I think that, but it's in my mind. I'm trying to get, I don't know how strong this is going to be now. Let's see. There's only one way to find out. I remembered when we were kids, what we used to do is tie this quite loosely, this string, then bend over, and then go round and round and round with the thing. But I don't know if I can do that now. I might have lost the knack since I got old. But that's how we used to do it. I will try that actually. I'll just tie that loosely there. See if I can do it that way. Because I remember that used to be quite effective. I was the champion, you know. I used to be able to get the arrows the highest. And then, oh, I don't know if you see that. You would bend it and tie around like this. I wasn't going to show you this bit because it's where it breaks. It's where it snaps off. Not that far. How's that? Whoa! No, it's not got much of a shape to it. I'll give it another go. Don't go away. Don't worry, I'll show you the finished result, whether it's a failure or not. There you go. You see that all right? Perfect. Robin Hood. Anyway, I've got to try and make an arrow now. I'll find a nice straight bit of wood for an arrow. Don't go away. I'll be right back. I found a fairly straight bit of twig. I've put a little nut on the end of it, look, to give it a bit of weight there. I think that's what we used to do. We didn't used to put flights on them, if I recall. I mean, I'm just doing this quickly. If I wanted it to be perfect, I would spend a lot more time on it. Then you've got to put a little groove in the end for your arrow, for your string to go in, which could make it the whole thing split right along its length. And I've got another little trick for that. Watch this, I'll show you. That should hold it in place on the string. Now I've got some masking tape, very old masking tape. It's not coming off the roll very well. I put that. People use masking tape these days when they're decorating. And you know, when I left school, first job ever, for the first 6 months or so, I was an apprentice painter and decorator. We never used masking tape. We just got straight on with the brush and we painted nice straight lines. We learnt how to do it. You see, nowadays you don't have to learn lots of things. You can, because life's made it easy for you. Well, not for most of you. I know a lot of you are my age or a little bit younger. Let's just tie that round there like that. Just hopefully it'll stop that splitting, and then try and get it a bit straighter. And I'm not going hunting today, so I'm not really worried. We used to make lots of stuff when I was a kid. I mean, we used to make our own scooters. You know, see kids on scooters today with electric scooters and beautiful wheels. We used to use ball bearings. You know, the bearings out of motors and stuff. I think probably, well, we must have been given them by the adults, but that's what we used to use. And I remember the scooters, we made them out of wood, of course. I might make one for you, or try. And of course we had soapbox carts. You can't get the wheels now though. They used to have, in the old days, prams used to have big wheels. Now you've got these silly little prams. No class today. No class at all. Anyway, look, there's my bow. There's my bow. There's my arrow. Not very straight. Let's give it a go. Right, here goes. Ready, Mia? Hope it doesn't break. It won't go far. Frightened it's going to break. Oh no! Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, Nigel. You fucking idiot. Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, look, we'll go and get you tidied up. Sorry, I haven't hurt you at all, have I? You fucking hurt my feelings. Sorry about that, everyone. Anyway, thanks for looking in. We'll see you again soon. Mia's looking a bit perplexed. Say hello to Nigel. Bye bye, everyone. The bow and arrow worked.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.